Ready to hit the
Hello, we are live. Come say hi. Hello, Marilyn.
Hello, we are live.
Uh-oh. Tracy, is that you?
No, that was me. Sorry.
I was just waiting for it to come up so I could hit the mute button on it.
Yes, Marilyn, I'm super close from 500. It went up fast.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Just gonna give it a bit more time because I think it's only us now.
And Michael, you're up at 950 right now. Last time we spoke, you were just a little bit over 800, I think, right?
Yeah, I think. Let's see, Jim and I Homestead had a pretty big live when they came back and gave us a pretty big shout out. We're like big time mods for them, but it was the one night that we was busy and didn't go into the live, but they still shouted us out. It helped us. It gave us a jump like 47 or something like that.
Just with one live?
Yeah, and most of them stuck because they pushed the encouragement of making sure they at least left a comment and watched the video.
Nice.
That's
So
fun.
one more like that, and then are you close from being monetized?
We're pretty crappy on watch time because we backed off of live streams pretty hard. We didn't go for months and months one time, and now we're doing it maybe one every 2 months. But
Okay.
I think we're somewhere around, since our 12-month period started over, we're like 2250 on watch hours.
So you're a little bit over 50%.
Yeah, pretty close.
Oh, well, it's not. It could be worse.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of proud of that since we hadn't been doing any lives. Most of that's just through videos and stuff. So, I mean, I'm pretty happy with it, but it could be better.
There's always place for a little bit better.
Yeah, and I'm not going to complain, though, because it's mostly because we just backed off doing lives a lot.
Well, live does make a big difference. I started in January doing my first live, and I was having a jump of 10 hours a week, and now it's 10 hours a day.
Wow.
So I know I'm still a young channel, but there's a big, big difference from when not doing lives and now.
Yeah, when did you start?
My first live was January 2nd of this year.
Yeah, but your first. When did you post your first video? Do you remember?
My first official video was March 6th last year.
Wow. So you started just at. I started in January of last year, and you passed me right by. Nice.
But my first video, my intro, was a year before that. So I posted that in December 2019. I was a year without posting, and then a year and so, and then in March of last year, I posted a first true video.
Cool.
Hello, Plyman's Backyard. I said that. The bird video will come out tomorrow morning. The bird video. Did I miss that?
She's doing video. Plowman's Backyard has been doing video about
yes.
birds.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Hello, Annie from Mama Homemade.
Plowman's
Okay, so-
Backward. I gotta.
Okay, so we're all here. So welcome, Michael, to my channel. And I would like you to introduce yourself to my viewers. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Okay, well, first off, thank you for having me up here. I'm Michael, just half of MB Heritage Farms. We are a little over a year old. We're based in North Carolina. We're just one of those channels that like to show people how to grow food, how to put food up, store it, and cook it. And we're the founders of Garden Gurus. I think a lot of people up here, especially to the hashtag at least 400. And like I said, we love showing people how to grow food, and we're happy to be here.
I'm happy to receive you. So you said you're from North Carolina, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And what is your favorite thing about your homestead?
Probably the chickens.
The meat chickens or their layers?
Both. Mostly just their heritage, like their egg layers. Yeah, mostly. We call them our worker chickens.
They have a job. And what would be the thing that you would say that you not hate, but it would be like at the bottom of your list of things that you don't enjoy to do?
I don't know. There's not a lot that I don't enjoy. But I think the older I get, a lot of the prep work kind of weighs on you the next morning a lot more than it used to. So I guess so through the colder months, doing most of the prep work in the building and stuff, I enjoy it the least.
Yeah, I would have to say that. The colder months when it freezes and all the chores you have to do and everything freezes. Yeah.
And homestead don't stop when it gets cold or snows. You still got to go.
True, true. They don't care if it's Christmas, New Year's, your birthday, Mother's Day, Father's Day. They don't care. And what are you most looking forward to this year?
Let's see. Mostly all of the new varieties that we have coming in. We've got this new way that we've been gardening lately because we're doing a whole lot more composting and letting the chickens fertilize the garden longer than we used to, which kind of puts a halt on some of those colder stuff that we like to grow. It also kind of shortens up our spring and stuff. So what we do is we'll get a good heirloom grow somewhere, normally 90 to 120 days. Then after that, we started to utilize hybrids after that to get a whole nother harvest before the end of the grow season. And we've been able to put up over half of an increase of what we normally do through the year. So I'm more excited about getting that part utilized again this year. We just did it last year.
So it's success, like you're successing sowing, but your first is heritage, and then you go hybrid.
Yeah.
That's cool. Never thought of that. And what is your favorite food to grow? Last question.
My favorite what? I'm sorry?
Your favorite food to grow?
Corn. That's my favorite. I know a lot of people say corn's challenging, but I absolutely love to grow corn. It's my favorite.
Cool. I was never able to grow corn. Like, I think last year I was able to have 1 dozen plus a couple of all my. Yeah. Obviously, I didn't have enough sown, but I had 3 big grow bags, and I think that was it. Like 12 or 18 mini ears. That was it. I never have success with corn.
Yeah, it's a little challenging. I believe, though, if you can get through a whole grow season doing corn successfully and you catch those, there's 3 key areas where you utilize fertilization for your corn before it starts asking for it. If you can nail those times and stuff, I feel like if you can go through a whole corn nail, you can handle pretty much anything else.
Okay. I know they're heavy feeders, but I've never really successfully done it. So it's part of I want to do it, but I never have like that 10 by 10 square feet to dedicate to corn.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you frozen, Tracy? Are you there?
No, I'm here. I was just thinking about, I found out about putting in winter gardens from Michael. They had a video out. They were getting ready here. I was covered with snow, and they were talking about planting a winter garden, and they're down there where they have a really long grow season.
Are you zone 6 or 7?
We're zone 7.
Ah, wow. Okay, so they have like 50 to 70 days more than us.
Yeah.
When is your last frost?
It varies. Of course, we all know since we've had all these crazy weather spells, but it varies. Usually, we usually won't put nothing out until May. So it's April, somewhere around our last frost. I'd say late April. It's been more of a thing here lately, again, a little bit more the end of April and closer into May for some reason. And then after that, it takes a lot longer for everything to get cold. And our first frost date coming in is always a lot later now too. So
do you freeze around end of November, December?
Yes, like late November, and that's not been normal for us at all. But it's pretty common here for the past 4 years.
So you're close to 200 days.
Oh yeah, easy.
Wow. We have like here, I think I have like 120-ish days.
Yeah, something.
That's
like
a long growing season.
Now, because we're always, fussing and arguing about how come we get our heirlooms done, and we're like, well, we still ain't put up enough. We're way behind on canning, and then start crying because we didn't get enough of our hybrids in. I guess we need to be thankful for the first grow season in the first place. But
well, if we can manage to have 1 full crop, it's a success. If you can have a second one, that's a blessing.
Right.
Yeah, we did it with our melons this past summer, and we had 2 rows dedicated to melons the whole entire year, put them back in the same place. We did summer melons and we did fall melons, and just those 2 rows, and we hit over 1,000 pounds just in water.
Wow. If I can get 5 melons out of my garden, I'm like, wow, 5 melons. And you're like maybe, you know, personal size 2
If I could
servings.
just get one plant growing.
They were all
That's
hybrids. That's
amazing.
how we were able to do it.
For my melons, I was, well, probably not this year, but I was thinking of going 2 direction, one hybrid and the other one northern climate varieties, like the ones that are in zone 3 and 4, because I'm in zone 5. So I'm thinking if they can handle zone 3 and 4, I would be able to grow them in zone 5, or I will have to dedicate a certain area in my high tunnel for melons, because it is what it is. If you only have 120 days, melon needs about 100 days average. So it's kind of hard.
Start indoors before you get them out. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I am so tempted. Baker Creek I believe it's Baker Creek, has a melon that they found. They found the seeds in a clay pot.
Yeah, it's
and it's a Cherokee type or a Indian, and they brought it back, and I've been wanting to try that, but I
haven't tried it, but I've seen it. It's an old variety.
Yeah, but I want to try, because it's got like a crook neck, I believe, if I remember it right.
They have so many rare varieties and so many beautiful stories. Sometimes I kind of get them mixed up, but I remember seeing that one. Okay, I'm going to catch up on messages, on comments. Thank you for sharing the channels, Marilyn.
Yes, thank you, Marilyn.
For us, the variety of corn made all the difference. Which variety of corn? Mind you, we are growing hybrids right now. Variety is important. We grew 2 melons. Okay, so I'm not the only one that is struggling with melons.
That's 2 more than me.
Don't forget to do the thumbs up. Yeah, it's true. Thanks for reminding me. I grew melon plants last year. That's it. I'm gonna put my melons in my high tunnel. Yeah, I was thinking of doing that, Annie. Same thing, but I have to choose between tomatoes and melons. Like it's that's a hard decision.
Yeah.
Is it though?
It is. For me, it is. For me,
oh, yeah. I thought it'd be tomatoes all the way.
Well, melons is super fun. Like, you know, those personal size melon, you slice them in half and you just eat them right out of the garden. That'd be great.
Yeah.
It's the problem is it's the space that it requires. Like, I can trellis them, but the bigger they are, I have to put those little hangers under them. And my high tunnel is only 20 feet long. So there's so much there's so little I can do after planting 80 pepper plants and I think 20 or 25 tomato plants. They're like little spots where I can put melons, but they have to trellis on the side of my high tunnel and kind of
allure corn.
It's kind of hard. Melon likes a cover plant. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe. I know the pumpkins do. I don't know if the melons, because like the with the mildew and the heat and the humidity I have here, I would say no. I have better success as a cover plant with my pumpkin plants. Well, that's me here. We grow allure corn from high mowing seeds. The last 2 years before we grew the Who Gets Kissed and open pollinated. Some years did good, others didn't. Okay. I've never seen those 2 varieties. What variety do you grow, Michael, of corn?
It's okay. So we have 2 varieties here that we like to do. Silver Queen here is becoming pretty rare. You know, it's kind of hard to find the seed anymore. So there's a lot of companies willing to give out seed to try to save that variety. But so we pretty much like to stick to that. But my favorite overall is called Honey Select Triple Sweet. It's a hybrid. It's around 85 days.
The name actually makes it sound like you almost want to eat it.
It's the greatest corn. Seriously, I'm like I like the sugary corn anyway.
Yeah.
And that's why I always like the Silver Queen. But this is probably in my opinion, it's probably 50 times better. But it's just so much quicker. And the best thing I like about it is, this past 2 years we've grown it, we've got 4 cobs on each stalk.
Wow.
And they're anywhere from 8 to 12 inches.
And where do you get your seeds?
We specifically get our corn from one place, and then most of the time we get it here from our garden and Johnny Seed, but our corn comes straight from Hostels. Yeah, we always.
I think we have access to Hostel here in Canada. I think so.
But you can get it anywhere. But it's pretty great stuff. It grows really fast. If you can, because it is a hybrid, if you can catch those fertilization times, there's 3 key times, and it'll grow great for you. It's pretty easy to grow.
Because I'm used to, the classic peaches and cream.
Yes,
and
that's right.
What else did I try to grow? Peaches and cream, a white one. I can't remember the name. It was a heritage breed. And I tried another popular one that's similar to peaches and cream, but none of them really took off. Like they were doing their thing, the stalk was like coming out, and then the hair was coming out, and then nothing. So I was pollinating it, grabbing the end of the stalk and pollinating the little hairs, but nothing after that. I missed comments. Hello, Camp Patton Family Compound. Allure is 75 days. Okay, so that's good. Okay, I'm all caught up. So what are you guys up to on the homestead this week? Who wants to go first?
I usually start talking, and then someone else wants to go first, so I can go first.
So it's your go, brother.
Yeah. Every time I start talking, somebody else goes, and I'm like, okay, I'll shut up and let them go. I got some more seeds, so I'm gonna be doing another video on those. Angie from Me and You Acres, and Cindy Squirrel from Little Squirrel Off Grid. Don't quite remember the exact name. I started planning. I went to the dollar store, bought a little book, and I don't know who gave me that advice.
I don't know.
So I started writing down, different people that I want to interview on my next few lives, because I'm going to have to start doing more lives. Lately, it's been more like I'm appearing on other people's lives and haven't been doing anything with my channel. So I have a couple of names here, from local farmers to a friend of mine that, used to live in Cuba and moved to Canada. So we're gonna explore the difference between the two. I also have, I'm trying to get a bunch of, I'm not going to say a bunch of kids because they're graduating this year, but they started their own company, and it's taken off pretty well. And it's a company about supplements for people to go to the gym, but they say that you can still use that in a milkshake or stuff like that. So if you want to, eat healthy, it's not totally organic, but the way they're speaking, it's still very, very healthy. I have some other homesteaders that I want to interview. I've been trying to work on an Excel document where I picked all my seeds that I have in my package here. And, I write everything down from the amount of days it takes to come out to sprout until, and how many days it takes to harvest them. So
I wonder who told you to do that.
Yeah, I'm still not sure. The first job I had was a programmer. So the programmer in me wants me to do something that I can just go in the future, put some information in there and have everything, calculated for me by itself. So I'm just trying to figure out how to make it work for me.
So you want a system that you just update every year.
Yeah, basically that's what it is. Because of course, like Michael says, you know, that the weather is changing so fast. So the last frost date keeps going closer and closer. A couple of years back, we always had in mind that, you know, it was around 7th of June. Some people around here would always say that it was, you know, after the full moon, after the first full moon of June. And then lately, we've heard about the 28th of May. And 2 years ago, I planted everything at the last full weekend of May, which was around the 23rd or 24th. And everything survived. You know, I had a big harvest. So it's tough to say. I guess we'll have to check every year to see if there's a.
Well, you can play the Russian roulette with your garden.
Yeah.
You just need to make educated choices. If there's no risk of frost within the next 2 weeks,
Should be all right.
it should. There's the big word should, because those are calculations. But like, if I had to choose which plants I would play the Russian roulette with, it's like beans, peas, or not peas. They don't mind the cold.
The ones that go in the ground usually.
Yeah, and I could just cover it with like recycled containers, but I would not put out an entire pepper bed
No.
2 weeks before my last frost, or tomatoes. I wouldn't do that because the risk is so huge, because they're going to get stunt, and then you're not going to get as much from that plant.
Probably
so if you
not
plant
gonna get
out
anything at all.
20 plants, you're going to get stunt and delay in all those plants. But I would play Russian roulette with beans, squash, summer squash. What else?
Well, I'm good with
kale.
Yeah, kale, lettuce, spinach.
Kale,
those
lettuce.
things are-
Usually you can plant kale, lettuce, I think 4 weeks before your frost.
Yeah.
I would play like two full weeks before the date, because those things can they can handle the cold. But like heat loving plants, I would not take the risk.
Yeah, definitely.
Still need to have frost blankets. Yes, it's true. I have some of those here. I play the Russian roulette with my garden every year, but I keep frost blanket near. Yeah, so if you're ready to play the Russian roulette, you need to be prepared. Our last frost is May 24th. Last year, we had a late uncalled snow. Oh my God, May 28th, and lost. Oh, wow. That must have hurt. That must have hurt. Oh. Rest in peace. That must have hurt.
That must be hurtful.
Yeah. Well, I got caught last year, end of May, 3 days in a row. It was a risk of frost. Didn't freeze, but had to cover over 100 plants.
Yeah.
That was very time consuming.
It is.
Too time consuming. Like if you have 5, you can just like take 5-gallon buckets and just put it over and then put a rock over it. But once you have 100 tomato plants, that was a lot to cover. And not just one night, 3 nights. Yeah, I love tomatoes. You're gonna catch up on that quite fast. Everything that you can make with tomatoes, I do it. So salsa,
pizza sauce,
barbecue sauce. I'm gonna try ketchup this year, chili, paste, the actual tomato paste.
Yeah.
Like everything that you can think of, I can tomatoes. And my calculations of, you remember I did like that tomato math on one of my lives? I'm not sure if you were there.
I don't know if I was there for that.
I can't remember. I calculated that I needed 70 or 68 tomato plants.
Wow.
So just with everything I want to can, let's just say that I don't behead one or my kids don't chop off a head off of my plants, I will still need at least between 60 and 70 plants, just paste tomatoes. The rest is for sandwiches, salads, fresh eating, dehydrating, and snacking. She responded, she said it did hurt. But thank God we had the many more plants to put in our garden instead of selling them. Okay, so you had a backup plan.
Still hurts financially though. If
It
you
does, but like it probably would have hurt more if she didn't have a backup
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah, we got hammered last year too, pretty good.
Did you
We
guys have
stayed in the
hail?
80s. Huh?
Didn't you guys have hail last year?
Yeah, we stayed in the 80s for a long time, and it was pretty normal for us. So we had pepper plants 3 foot tall. Our whole garden was planted, tomatoes and everything. And then we lost our entire garden to the frost and hail.
Oh man.
Ouch.
Two
Ouch,
and a
ouch.
half days, everything was dead.
Ouch. My tomatoes last year, we were put outside several weeks before the last frost. I used wallow waters on them, and they went crazy and produced 10 times more than last. Okay.
Is that
So there's-
willow water that they're
Well,
talking about?
I'm guessing wallow's water? Is that a fertilizer? I don't know what that is. Can you-
Yeah, willow water is you take the willow branches. I learned this from Mike. You take the willow branches and you soak them in water, and then when you transplant and do stuff like that, you put them in there, and it cuts down on the shock, the transplant shock and stuff of the plants. It's really good for them.
I saw that. I went to a farmer and they were transplanting tomatoes, and they were soaking the root system with it was a colored water. I think it was like brownish.
Yeah.
Orange. They would soak it in there, and then they went to transplant outside. Would that be it?
It very well could be. I believe. Like I said, I learned it from Mike, one of his videos.
Are you talking about Michael or Mike?
Michael.
Michael. Okay.
Michael MB.
Okay.
Yeah, we use it a lot. If you have a willow, pretty much any type of willow on your property, it's best to make tea with those early spring cuttings that are bright green that come out on the ends. And it does so much for transplants and taking stuff from inside out and putting it out, for the new growth season. It helps so much more.
I don't have a willow tree here, so I would have to
cool.
Watch out for that.
He's explaining what
I know that there is a product that you can buy. It's a hormone. It's a transplanting hormone. It's obviously synthetic, probably. You put your roots in there and then you transplant it outside, but right. I don't know the name. I've heard of it.
Compton family just explained it's a plastic set of connected tubes.
It's a plastic set of connected tubes filled with water.
Yeah.
It heats up in the day and radiates. Nice.
Cool.
Thanks for explaining. I never plant anything except kale and cabbage until after the 10th and 15th of June. Yeah, playing it safe. It's a plant protector, like water pouch. You put around the plant, okay? Willow water is also a great rooting hormone. We learn things every single day.
Absolutely.
That's one of the reasons why I rewatch the lives often. So many things are said.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, don't have time to read
as much in the comments as you can listen to the panel.
Tracy's taking notes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Remy,
just to complete, this morning I went ice fishing with the kids. With my two sons. I'm supposed to go again next week with the girls. So that's an upcoming video for either later tonight or tomorrow if my designer has time to finish my thumbnail.
I'm working on your thumbnail. Give me a bit of time. It's almost done. I have to send it to you maybe later on tonight.
Everything in the video is done, so as soon as I get that, it's just go either tomorrow morning or tonight. It's not a big deal.
Okay. Did you want to add anything else?
No, I'll leave the...
Before I actually pass the someone else to talk, you forgot to present yourself. There are maybe new people on the live, so they probably don't know who you are.
Okay. Remy from Rem's Family Farm. I live in northern New Brunswick, Canada. Growing zone 4A. So yeah, it gets cold. We've had a couple of nice days lately. The guy told me this morning, because I rented a shanty to go fishing, and the guy told me yesterday there was some water on top of the ice, so I had to put my rubber boots on. And this morning it was minus 20 Celsius. So I think it's like -4 Fahrenheit. So everything was frozen, even my feet.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, it gets cold.
it gets cold. If as long as your feet are not wet or cold, the day goes by fine. But as soon as your feet are wet,
It's weird because you'll see in my video, my son actually took like his coat and his shirt off. He was, nothing on his back, and we were freezing our feet off. It's weird. Well, it's all wet on the floor is all wet and cold, so no, that's what happens.
well, at least you got fish.
Oh yeah, lots.
Nice.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Tracy or Michael, whoever wants to go first. What are you up to on your homestead or farm?
Go ahead, brother Tracy.
All right. This week was basic general snow removal and upkeep. And then Wednesday, I went out and I was shoveling in front of the chicken coop. And I think it was like the 8th scoop. I was pretty much done. Just a small scoop of shovel, and I twisted just right and pulled something in my back. So the rest of the week, I pretty much babied my back. And between that and the leave, I was able to help lady friend of mine. I've known her since I was a kid. I was able to shovel off her roof for her. And then today I came home after church and tapped 10 maple trees because we're supposed to have a warm up. And yeah, I went and bought the tube kit and everything, but I've only got 5-gallon buckets to put it in right now. Trevor's working on getting me a 55-gallon jug barrel. And
You can freeze all your sugar water and process it all at the same time if you have freezer space.
Yeah, that's the one thing I do not have.
You do not. It's true. You're off grid.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to. I'm THAM 141 homestead. Been off grid for 5 years now, and loving every second of it. Off grid in the 21st century. I got everything I need with 1,000 watts of solar panel, and I live regular modern life, except for I do things a little harder, so I have to work for it.
Can you give us your description or definition of being off grid?
Well, there are a whole bunch of different grids, but I'm off the electrical grid. I have 2 wires coming into my house. One is from the solar panels, and one goes to the generators when I need to run the generators. And then I have water from the well. I have no public utilities at all. Even my propane for my stove and my refrigerator, I take down and fill it myself.
Do you have an outhouse or a compost toilet?
We actually have a regular septic tank.
Okay, so you have septic at home.
Yeah, we have septic and a leach field, but I do have an outhouse. When we started off, that was the second. The chicken coop and then the outhouse were in that order were built. But after a while, it just got way too cold to be running up the outhouse in the middle of the night.
That's what I keep saying. I would not mind having a cabin, living the off-grid life and the simple life. The only thing I would have a problem with is the outhouse during the winter.
Yeah.
That when you want to, I don't know, having that cold breeze on my butt cheeks, I still can't.
And honestly, for the cost of it, the septic tank and leach field, we put all that in ourselves, and our water is run by a 12-volt pump, and so it really didn't take much to get water and everything I needed to have an indoor toilet.
Okay. And I wanted to say, when you hurt your back, did you try Epsom salt bath?
No, Epsom salt scares me now. The last time I used Epsom salt for anything other than my wife's foot bath, I got raided by the police. I sprayed it on my pepper plants, and they thought it was marijuana.
I remember.
From the air.
I remember your story.
So Epsom salt kind of scares me.
The Epsom salt bath is terrific when you hurt your any muscle groups, especially in your back. They actually use them for horse. You know, when a horse has a spring, I don't know how you call it. I guess
Cold
feet,
muscle
foot,
type.
whatever. Yeah. They use Epsom salt bath for them.
Okay, because I've got a hot cold pack, a couple of them, and I went from cold to hot to cold to hot.
Oh, that would do it. That would do it. Are you better now?
Yeah, I'm loving the Aleve. It's the only thing that really touches it. But yeah, I'm able to move out and about without too much pain. I had a few scares when I stepped in the snow today, and my foot went down farther than I thought it was. I was scared I was going to pull it again, but I didn't. So
well, be careful.
Good. Yeah,
we're not young anymore.
No. I feel 17 though, man.
Oh, your body, that's like your mind can be young, but your body, they don't care if your heart is young. They don't care if your mind is young.
Yeah.
You can't escape. That's the only thing you can't escape. When I get sick with body aches, Epsom salt. Yeah. See, I was not the only one that said that.
Now, can you just like put the Epsom salt water, soak it in a towel or something? Because I don't have a tub.
I don't
have
know.
A shower.
I guess Mr. Google Pants would be your best friend on that.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. We have an unwanted guest.
Taken care of.
Oh, thanks. It's telling me that someone already did it. Thanks.
Marilyn's on the
yeah. I click the button and then I look and I see that Marilyn already.
Marilyn is the mod tonight, but I couldn't see her, so I was, because obviously sometimes we step out or do something. So. Yeah. Okay, so you, Mike, what are you up to on your farm this month or this week?
I mean,
yeah,
we don't have a lot going on, like I said, because the chickens are still in the garden. Getting out weed and seed. We still have some left, not much though. They do a great job. This is a new tradition this time of year. The middle of February, we're starting this year with elderberry cuttings. It's turned into a massive job. We just dropped a video for how we propagate them. It's really easy. Normally we use willow water, but that's caused a little bit of a problem. I'll explain here in a minute earlier, but they're in regular water now. So we're pretty busy. We have somewhere around 75, 80 cuttings, and we've taken them out of water and up potting them, and we're going to keep them in the house. Sweet potato slips has been pushing us really hard. What happened with those is I got them out a little early, somewhere around last month, to do some video content, and their potatoes that come out under the house, even in darkness, had some 12 and 13-inch shoots on it, or slips. So we made the video. I took them off, and normally we put them in willow water, but normally we don't start them until February, and that helps rush them up. Well, we did the normal routine, me forgetting I was supposed to put them in regular water because of that. So the willow waters just rushed them up, and we're having to separate them out and stick them in glass jars and try to prolong them until we can get them put out. And they're pushing us pretty hard. So
you have sweet potato trees.
Yeah, pretty much. They're some of them pretty much like 20 inches, and we're having to like put them in pots. As long as I don't get a tater growing on them, I think we're going to be okay. But
wow, well, at least you'll know you'll get it. They'll be good when they're going to go outside.
So other than that, we ain't really had much going on. Yesterday was an exciting day. We had a channel from Australia fly down and come, and we spent the whole day with them on our homestead yesterday, and a few other channels came over, and the whole day was just hanging out with a bunch of channels and eating and cooking out. And it was pretty awesome. So other than that, we really ain't got not much going on except for the potatoes and the elderberry. We're starting our colder stuff now, our hybrid colder stuff, so we can get it over with because the chickens are going to be out there so long. We got to utilize our drip tape, compost, and all that stuff. And then we're going to do like the onions, the Brussels sprouts here, broccoli. We're big time into collards. That's another thing we like to grow here. So we're going to start doing them now. They're going to be pretty quick. But other than that, that's pretty much it for us.
Why do you do so many elderberry cuttings?
Here, it's got pretty big in North Carolina. we don't know everything about the berry yet, but we are finding out there's tons of more medicinal qualities to the elderberry than we even know about. Some places can get as high as $100 a pound for frozen elderberries. It's the craze is getting
Wow.
pretty crazy. For us, we are into the syrup and the jams because it still holds its medicinal quality if you do it right. It's really easy, as far as the cyanide process goes. And we wanted more, and we're going to expand our corn to a 30 by 30 plot because, like I said, it's my favorite thing to grow, and we don't ever have it here on the homestead because our family's constantly eating it. So we figured we may donate a little bit of that 30 by 30 to our elderberry plants, and we're going to need somewhere around 250, and we've got half of it already, and we're probably going to cut maybe 50 more. But it's just something that we picked up and got a really good liking for. And a buddy of ours in the Garden Guru system, Jules, he knew we was looking for some. They're really hard to find here because they're so popular. It's hard to pick up any clones or cuttings. And he found some, I think somewhere around 3 hours away from where we normally live at. He picked up some, brought them to us. We put them in the ground, found the best spot for where they liked it at because we planted them in random places. And the one that did the best is what we took our cuttings off of this year. So we're going to pretty much be elderberry farm as well.
So are you growing the wild one or the common one?
Yeah, we're growing common. The one with the most meds, I think, is a black elderberry right now. That's what we have.
Okay, not the one with the white flower, the other one, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's nice. I got introduced to elderberry this year. I bought, I think it was a pound or a kilo of dehydrated elderberries to make my own syrup instead of buying my own syrup. But since the berries are poisonous, well, not the berries, but the which part of the berry is poisonous?
It's the little seed, the little inside
the
the berry.
seed. So I have young kids, and they love to eat berries, blueberries, and strawberries and stuff like that. So since they're super young, in buying a tree with those little berries, I have preferred buying them either frozen or dehydrated. Yeah. But when the kids get older, since there's so much benefit with the syrup, I've learned about the jam, the teas, and there's so many medicinal properties with the plant. It's something I'm really looking forward to get on the homestead. But it's far down the road for us. Maybe if I have a farm one day, we'll see. Growing old is mandatory. Growing up is optional.
Absolutely.
That's all. That's a great comment.
It's a good point. Put a ginger poultice on your sore area. Works great.
Okay. How do you make a ginger poultice? If you get a chance, put it in the comments so I can write that down because I've got ginger root. I grow ginger year round. So,
do you make a video of your ginger?
I did make how I did it in the plant. We went to a health food store and just bought a piece of root that had a bunch of the crowns on it, planted it, just kept it damp. Next thing you know, we had shoots growing up and
from one plant. Like let's just say you take
from one little root about that big.
What did you get?
I'm gonna say about a root about that big, and then I cut off a chunk of that and replanted it, and I've got shoots growing off that now. I got.
So you would say you would get double or triple what you sow?
Yes, in a year.
In a year.
Well, over the winter.
And do you only leave it inside the house?
Yeah, so far I was supposed to transplant it this summer, but I just never got around to it. It was a crazy summer for me. So,
because I always, when I buy my ginger for it not to sprout, I put it in the freezer and I just take out whatever I need and then put it back in the freezer. So I always wondered if I take one that's in the freezer and I plant it, I don't know if it's gonna sprout.
I don't know once it's been frozen if it would, but if you get one that has the little crowns, they're like little round. Hold on 1 second and I'll grab one for you.
Okay, I'll read the comments of that until you come back. You see the comments before us, that's why. Sorry, Marilyn. Elderberries are great. Oh, here's a question for you, Michael. MB, do you find your elderberry plant moves around?
I know they do. We just started ours, Kendra and Jason, last year. We just got our cuttings. I was amazed they grew that big in just the 1 year that we had them. But I do know people that do grow them here, and a lot of people consider them invasive. If you make them happy, they can spray it. Absolutely, they will, without you even need to do cuttings. If they're happy, they will move around.
I'm guessing it's like berries. Whatever falls on the ground freezes, and then the year after sprouts and does babies. I'm guessing that's how it could
And a
work.
lot of times, some of the older wooden shoots on the very ends, they can wind up when they fall and break. They can wind up turning into cuttings too. They'll spread through the root.
True.
It's awesome how they spread through the root. All the new shoots come up, and you'll see a new leaf maybe 2.5 feet away from where you planted the bush, and you're like, "Is that an elderberry leaf?" And you go moving it around, and you find out it's a root from the mother plant that's grew over. So there's many different ways they can move around, especially if they're happy where they're sitting at.
Thanks.
Nice.
Do you have your?
Yes, I do. This one, apparently, when we cleaned out the fridge, it got set on top of the fridge, and so it thawed out, and was in a Ziploc bag. But okay, each one of these little crowns where it rounds off has the potential to grow into a plant.
Okay.
So what you would do is you would just like take a section like this. Gotta hold it up.
So it's like what, about 2 little sections?
Yeah, it's got, I can see three little. I don't know if you could see that. It's got like an eye in it.
Okay, so it's like a potato. You make sure that there's at least 2 eyes.
Yeah, of these little rounded thing. There's one there, and there's one there, and then there's one over here. I don't know if you can see that very good.
And do you lay it on its side?
Yeah, I lay it right flat, and I don't put it very deep, and then I just try to keep the soil moist for a while, and then pray for sprouts.
And you put it next to your windowsill.
It's in my windowsill, south facing window.
And do you fertilize it?
No, potting soil. In fact, what I've got growing now is in the potting soil that I harvested that from. I didn't even change the potting soil.
Is it potting soil or seedling?
It's the regular. I think it's a regular potting soil that comes in the big brick at Walmart.
Okay, thanks.
So.
I might give it a try. Next time I go at Walmart, there are some that are organic. And I remember one of my little eye germinated. So I would be able to try it. Oh, I was waiting for Annie to comment. Annie is actually planting ginger this year.
Nice.
I wanted to do the same thing with turmeric.
I don't see why you couldn't.
But I would have to do it inside because from what I've read, it's 10 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like 10 months of heat. Like I would be able to like do the pot inside and then bring it outside, and then I would have to bring it inside. But then risking having little critters coming back inside the house.
Yeah.
So since you're doing it on your windowsill, and I could have like 2-3 pots or 2-3 shoots, I would have ginger always going, because like I think one thing of ginger about this big lasts maybe 4 months here, so I would be able to have like a ongoing supply of ginger.
Yeah,
a new experiment to try this year, maybe. Yeah. Did you want to add something else, Michael?
No, I hadn't grown either one, but I love both turmeric and ginger, especially ginger. But I just ain't really messed with them. I need to start.
I haven't tried. Like I didn't see the reason of growing ginger, because I only maybe buy 3 pieces a year or 3 packages a year. But like I have to freeze it all the time. So it's not fresh ginger. It's not, it could be worse, but it would be fun to have fresh ginger all the time. Oh, we have a comment. For the ginger, how is the humidity in your house? And I'm trying ginger under the grow lights. I tried to grow twice, but the shoots died again.
The humidity, it's actually, I think normal humidity is between like 30 and 35%, but with the wood stove, I stay between 25 and 32% humidity because I keep a big pot of water on the wood stove all the time. So it's relatively low humidity. It's not very humid. And the plants, I forget to water them all the time. And I look and I see the soil's all dry and I'll add a glass of water to it and they're doing fine. Let me grab that real quick.
Ginger was not part of the subject.
I know, I'm sorry.
No worries. I love sharing those experiences because you might tempt people to try it now.
Oh,
that's your ginger pot?
That's ginger, yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Cool.
And like this one here died off probably, and it's the top is dry, but there's a big these 3 shoots here are about the size of the root that I did, and this one's coming out way over here. I don't know if you can see it or not.
And what's the size of your pot? 12-inch?
I'm gonna say at least 12-inch.
And the height about 8 to 10 inch?
Yeah.
Huh, nice.
But it doesn't go deep. It'll fill the thing. It'll grow out. It doesn't go very deep at all.
So I guess Mr. Google is going to be having fun tonight answering my questions. I'll go Google all about growing in pots in the house. I guess it's my turn to share what's going on this week. For myself, I started prepping my seedlings. I washed my pots. I make sure to, if I can, I disinfect them. And then I tried to catch up on my growing season, how much plants of each, who goes where. So I finished my garden plan this week. What else did I do? I grew microgreens. I also harvested microgreens, and I don't know if everyone saw it. I made an epic, meat pate sandwich. Is delicious. And tonight I had some subs. Some steak subs, and we added again microgreens. I just put microgreens in everything. I also sowed onions, and I sowed onions on the 9th. Yeah, the 9th. And I started to have little babies, little tiny little seeds are starting to pop out. And I'm actually doing experiments with my onions. I bought myself a soil blocker, a 1.5-inch soil blocker to mimic the 72 plug cell tray. I'm loving it. I love everything, from the start up till where I am now. I have no complications. I guess if I do have complications, it's going to be a little bit more down the road. But up till now, I love them. And I am trying 128 cell trays to grow my onions instead of the 72. And I officially found my bread to do my subs and my French baguettes. After looking for months and months and months for a good recipe, it's the second or third try Remy, the recipe I sent you. Mm-hmm. It's officially, we found our bread recipe.
Nice.
That's pretty much what happened at the homestead this week.
Now, do you have a link to your soil blockers? Because that would save me a lot of money than buying the little boxes.
You can get them at Johnny's Seeds in the United States. I would have to go check it out. Can I leave this interface to go on another tab in my internet browser?
Yeah, as long as you don't shut down the tab, you should be good.
Okay. Johnny.
We don't see the difference.
So I can't do stupid stuff, right?
No.
Okay.
The camera is still pointing on
Well,
you.
you can, but then don't worry about us laughing.
Okay. I'm looking for it.
Valley Tools has them.
I know Johnny Seeds has them. Soil blocker. There it is. There is the 2-inch, 1.5-inch, and 4-inch.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if where is it? Where are you guys? Okay, you're here. The link I'm putting up in the chat is where all their soil blocker equipment is.
Okay.
I use the 3/4 inch. It's like a little rectangle. I germinate my seeds in them. And then the 2-inch has an adapter that you can take those little blocks and insert it in your 2-inch. The 1.5-inch is to mimic the 72 plug tray, but there's no adapters to have the 3/4 inch to put it inside. And then the 4-inch one is you can use the 2-inch adapter to put it in the 4-inch. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah.
So if the three that is like, I would say the dynamic trio would be the 3/4, 2, and 4, because you can use the 3/4 to start your seeds and then up pot them to the 2-inch and then up pot them to the 4-inch. But there is a learning curve with soil blockers.
Yeah.
Getting the moisture right and
Yeah, like you have to play with the dirt a little bit. It has to be much more wet than when you would do your 72 plug trays. Like when you squish the water, the soil, like you have to have water dripping out and it has to hold together. And you would water a little bit less because there's still it's still moist.
mm-hmm.
And you have to position your little blocks to have like mini irrigation systems within your 10 by 20 tray so that the water actually goes down. I'll make a video about it.
Cool.
But I'm really loving the fact that it's the only thing I have to wash with my 10 by 20 trays. The other thing I do is I have to wash my cell trays. I have to wash my pots. I have to, there's so many things to wash.
Yeah.
And then you have to put it away for 1 or 2 seasons. So you have to store it. So if you don't have space, the soil blockers are a better way to go.
Yeah.
I keep these big pots of water on the wood stove to get the humidity up to 27%.
Yeah.
Lee Valley in Canada has them. I don't know if you guys have Lee Valley.
I don't know. I know I can order stuff from Canada and
yeah, but the shipping will be completely ridiculous. So if you can get them at Johnny Seeds, you're going to pay a shipping that's more reasonable for you guys. Lee Valley for me is where I got my 2 first soil blockers, and with $30 I had free shipping. So it was a special they had going on. Okay, that's what I just said. This week, Mama Annie from Mama Homemade says that this week she's sowing onions. I want 60 feet of onions this year, so I have a few trays to start. Just a few. I'm definitely going to buy a soil blocker next year. Sorry, I had to step away for a moment. Hitting blessings calls. Okay, it's fun to read you guys. Normally when I say I sow about 400 onion seeds, people look at me like I'm crazy. Yeah, I get that comment all the time. So for the ginger poultice, this is for you, Tracy. You grate your ginger, cheese grater, skin and all. I guess then put it between 2 pieces of paper towel or cloth, tape it to a plastic wrap at the area where it's sore.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yes, thank you.
It works like a heat rub. Leave it on for a few hours.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
So we're learning many things tonight.
Absolutely.
Who here has tried the soil blockers? Am I the only one that tried the soil blockers? Did you try them, Michaels?
No.
No? Okay. I know
I think
that
it's like a form of art to me. I think there's a little work to do. I think it's great, but I just ain't tried it yet. But I think it's interesting.
I have a plant cell every year, and it's the only thing that's keeping me from converting to the pots to going 100% to the soil blockers, because I don't think if I present a little block of soil to a customer, I'm not sure they're going to enjoy it. Unless they're full-on green people that want no waste, no plastic, no nothing.
Right. Which is a good sell point also.
It's a good sale point. I was actually talking with a Manitoba homesteader, and we're actually brainstorming ideas because she's also wanting to convert to a greener alternative. And since a lot of people are looking for those alternative, I know it's going to work. We just don't know how to present it. How obviously there's not going to be any pots, but we have to have something around the little block of soil. We can't put paper because the paper is going to get wet, and if the customer puts that on their car seat, well, it's going to get dirty. We can put them on like a little pizza style carton box, but it would have to be a recycled carton to go down the direction of being a more greener alternative. So like we haven't really found the perfect solution. We did speak about something Remy has, which is those bags. You know those little white bags you have?
Woven nursery bags.
Yes, we've looked at that, but they're a circle.
Yeah.
So if you take a 2-inch square and you put it in a circle, it won't fit. So we would love to find some of those bags, but rectangle. We still haven't found some. There's a sound we hear.
Could be me. There's all kind of sounds here. Ever since I changed my room here, computer room under the stairs, kids go up and down the stairs. The dog goes up and down the stairs. Every little sound seems to be even like stronger here for some reason. I don't know why. It's like a little sound changer.
I do have my dog downstairs that's barking, and maybe the kids. Maybe that's that.
I don't hear that. All I hear is the sound, the water running through the pipes right here, and all kind of sound like that.
Serena from We Can't Eat the Grass sell her plants in paper pots. I've seen that, but I would have to make them, and that would be so time consuming. I would not have the time to do all the pots, but like we've talked about that idea. This one actually is something I did not think about. Beeswax soaked paper. That could work.
Yeah, that would be nice. I remember in Boy Scouts, we took birch bark and made, well, they were pretty much canteens, you know, just by folding. It would be a little bit more time consuming if you had to make them yourself. But if you could find a simple way to use like birch bark, you know, to fold it a certain way so it would hold the water in, you know. But I like the beeswax idea too. That is
because after that they can just wash it and use it for something else.
Yeah,
I would have to literally look into that, like find like a cute design of cotton, organic cotton or paper, recycled paper, and just put beeswax. Yeah, thank you for the idea. I really like that.
Then you're getting a plant and a candle. You just have to make the candle afterwards.
I'm sorry, Marilyn. I lost track. What did you mean by that? Nor
Sound.
more. Oh no.
Sound.
Okay.
It's more
Okay.
like a feedback. Could be
So
anyone.
the sound they was hearing was more like feedback instead of background noise.
Okay. Does anyone that's watching wants to share what they're up to this week? Because we actually made the round table. We'll see if anyone has something to share. Am I the only one that sowed seed this week?
Yep.
Yeah. No, I didn't do any.
You should sow your onions.
I do have onion seed, I think.
Which one are you growing this year?
I'm not sure which they are. I haven't pulled my seeds out. I've been dying to, but in fact, I was supposed to make a video on it this week, but things just kept me from it. And then today I wanted to get my trees tapped, so I've been putting it off. So I need to get my seeds out. I think they're the white onions. Sweet, I think. I'm not sure.
Are you trying to tell me you haven't bought seeds, played with seeds, or looked at your seed collection since last year?
No, I played with seeds because I found a paper plate of kale seeds that were drying up on the shelf, and I put them in the bag and I lifted the cover of the box and put them in the box. But I haven't really done much with seeds this year yet.
So you're part of the minority of gardeners that did not purchase seeds this year.
Well, yeah, I've got a box full of seeds, both that we've collected and preserved and bought from last year and actually a couple years ago. So I'm wanting to thin it out a little bit better, and I'm going to take better notes. Every year I say that, but this year I'm going to take better notes on what works good and what doesn't.
Well, it's easier at the end of the season, and it's easier for you to start your season with notes.
Yeah.
Marilyn says the seedling shelves are up, still waiting for my onion seeds. You mean to receive your order?
We got ours out. We just didn't get to plant them. Like I said, we had Down Under Farm and Forge came from Australia here to our homestead, and we was planning on doing most of that this weekend, but it was worth putting it out for. But I think we put out Walla Walla seed this year. Arkansas Woodcutter gave us some Creole Reds that we planted a week earlier, but we have like 3 different, I think it's Savannah, Walla Walla, and Rio Grandes that we have laid out for planting this week. We're just going to do it next week, but we didn't get to this time. But we're big fans of onions. We love that and garlic big time.
I'm trying the Walla Walla this year. I've heard so many things about the taste. I've had like little ones from the garden last year, but not enough like to get like an in-depth taste of them. So I'm trying them again, the Walla Walla this year.
This is our first year this time coming up to grow the Walla Walla, so we're excited for it.
And what's the 2 other ones that you said?
Creole Red onions.
Creole Red. Never heard of that one.
And the others are the Savannah Reds. And we got Rio Grandes. I think they come from Hoss Seed as well. Rio Grande onions.
Those, by the name, I'm guessing they're big.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Awesome.
they're shorter. I think they're like a 6, I don't want to say 68. They're like kind of like between Warrior Onions and Walla Walla. To me, that's what I think they are.
Nice. Annie says, I think I could look at my seeds every single day. True. If I could, I would.
It's an addiction.
Well, you remember last year when we started chatting about my seed collection and you laughed at me about all my seeds and how passionate I was about my seeds?
Sorry.
Do you remember those conversations?
Now I feel like a kid playing with his hockey cards. I look at them every day. I take them in my hands. I play with them. Every time I go to the store, I have to buy a pack, even if it's just that tiny little cheap pack from dollar store.
Yeah.
I went to the store yesterday and bought some more beans. 3 different type of beans I didn't have here. I'm gonna have to try them.
I know, like when I started, I wanted all the seeds. all of them. Like I wanted all the pretty tomatoes, all the pretty peppers, and all of that. It was hard to resist. Now this year, it's the first year like I bought seeds, but I went a different route. I did a lot of seeds exchange.
Yeah.
So you sent me seeds. Annie is sending me seed. A good friend of mine also sent me seeds. Angie and Mike sent me seeds from Me and You Acres. And there's another one that sent me seeds. I forgot. Doesn't matter. So I had like 5 people sending me like a couple of seeds to see if I enjoy them, instead of buying like a full pack of seeds and then not knowing if I was going to like them. Because I did buy like tomato seeds, but I did not liking them. So now I'm stuck with the entire pack of seed. I have to transplant my kale. That's going to go in the tunnel in bigger pots. Yes, we are guilty. We are guilty. Do you need long keeper tomatoes now? Marilyn, don't get me started. I haven't watched your video yet about your long keeping tomato. I might have to go make a purchase.
That was interesting. I'm gonna.
I've read about those tomatoes that that can last fresh, not frozen, in a dark place for many weeks or even months. So when I saw her video, I was like, okay, I can't go watch it. I cannot go watch it. I'm gonna end up buying seeds, but obviously I will end up going to see it. So yes, I will have maybe to do one more purchase. This year I bought some seeds too, but I did buy a lot less than previous years. Well, at one point, your collection kind of gets big.
Yeah.
And you know those things where I store my seeds in? What do you call them?
Tackle boxes.
Yeah, I have 2 of those. And, you know, buying a third one kind of makes me like feel bad of having those. Yeah, those ones. Buying a third one, I would fill it. But that would mean a lot of seeds.
Yeah.
A lot of seeds.
I couldn't fit everything in there.
2 I find is, you know, reasonable. But once you've passed 2 and you reach the 3, I don't have that big of a garden to have 3 of those.
Well, that's what rototillers are for.
What do you mean?
Enlarge the garden.
Oh, I can't. I maximize everything on my land.
Yeah, it's too bad you don't have a community garden in your area.
I wanted to actually propose. We have land here that is unused and waited to be sold. So I wanted to approach the city of buying the land and creating and being part of the program. But after that lady came at my house and told me, you have to kill all your animals.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to tell politely to that ideal, like, fuck you.
Yeah.
So, after that, I do not want to get involved with my city. I find it sad because we're one of the biggest organic agriculture place near the village where I live. I chose this specific village because, 1, my father grew up here as he was young. And 2, there's a lot of organic farms, and it's one of the biggest village that has a lot of farms in this area, and the schools were good. So when that lady came at my house, I kind of changed my idea about the city.
I'm sorry, I'm not moving again. If they came to me and said something like that, I would say, you're welcome to try, but it'll only take me a second to get to my gun.
Yeah, well, we can't. I don't
Yeah,
carry guns here, but
Yeah,
the worst part is when we made an offer on the house, I called the city. I made a reasonable call, and I said, okay, here's what I want to do. I want to do a small-scale farm. We're looking to buy a 15,000 square feet. Here's what we want to do. Are we allowed? The person said yes. So we made an offer on the house. But the person that told us yes was fired a year after that.
No.
And the person that took her place in the administration of our town wants our village to become an actual town. So if you want a town, you have to have like a more suburban thinking. So no chickens, no farm animals, blah, blah, blah. But like,
you might be protected by what they call the grandfather law.
Yeah.
If you could see on the papers the date that they made the change, if they actually did.
no, they didn't do it. They tolerate 8 chickens, so there's no rules. There's no written rules. They tolerate to us having 8 laying chickens.
They will never be able to force you to get rid of them.
Yeah.
If you have now, they can't ask you to get rid of them.
No, well,
that
now
was my problem. I couldn't prove the village that I had chickens before 2012.
Now,
well,
my
there's
niece,
Mistake.
I'm sorry?
my niece just had that. She's in the village of Holland Patton, and she had a neighbor complain because her chickens crossed the road and pooped on her lawn, I guess, or something like that. And so she's applied for a variance. So, and because they just are working on changing on finding out what the law actually is, because there was a law prohibiting it, and then but they're zoned almost agricultural. So she's going to the town asking for a variance, saying, listen, let me be an exception. I'll keep them off that lady's lawn, but
Well, since there's no written law, there's a gray zone. So here's the law. As long as you don't, there's no complaints, there's no visual nuisance, no noise, they're not going to say anything. So what I had to do is I had to hide everything. So the silly lady, after coming down off of her horse, thinking she can own me, she says, if you hide everything, we don't see it from the road, or the neighbors does not see it, does not hear it, I'm not gonna bother you. But that kind of made I designed my homestead with Justin's Rhodes chicken tractor. So every single garden area in my house, around my house, was to pass the chicken tractor all around. Mm-hmm. So now I can't do it, but I can't undo what I did. But anyways, you learn the hard way.
It's insane.
Yeah, it is. People,
that's crazy.
Because they want you to. Well, no, never mind. I'm not getting political.
Well, when I told her this is an agriculture village, this was her response. No, we are an agriculture village, but you are in the central of the village, so you're like a city. So I'm like, no, you're either a village or you're a town. You're not part of a town is a town, and the outside of the city lines, you're something else. You're either a village or you're a town. You can't be both. And she said, yeah, but you're in downtown of your village. I'm like, for fuck's sakes, we're 1,500 people. Just come on. When we gather the entire village, there's not many people
right
at gatherings. So
are there zoning? Any zoning laws or anything? Because I know Port Leyden and Lyons Falls were all zoned agricultural, so they couldn't really say much to anybody.
I'm zoned residential.
Yeah, that's the same thing with me. But my name back, at the end of my property, they have big fields and they're allowed to do whatever they want.
2 kilometers away from my house, the farm starts. There's this middle of the town where it's exactly like the old towns. We have a church, the building next to the church, the post office, all the main buildings in the city, and then you have a little village. And once you get maybe 5 kilometers out of that, it's all farms. And it's cornfields, soy, we have cereals and stuff like that, but most of them are organic.
It's a shame you couldn't put up a huge privacy fence.
I would, but there's so much complication. If it was a normal neighbor, it would have been easier, but it's a old folks home.
Oh.
So
you would think they would love watching the chickens and stuff out.
Oh God, I'm not going to get into that story, but it's the owner. It's the owner of that place. He said to the city that I'm putting
the market down on this.
So I'm going to say it in French. and Rémi help me. Je mettais la valeur immobilière en baisse.
Yeah, well, the market of the house or the
So
building.
his condos, let's just say that he would rent his condos at $1,000 a month. But the people didn't. He's saying that the people would not want to pay $1,000 a month because there was a pork. He was comparing me to a pig farm. My house was a pig farm, so I'm like, I have chickens, and I have turkeys. I'm not a pig farm. Like, but anyways,
Yes.
he is a special person.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you're unhappy in life, everyone has to be unhappy. That's the feeling that he gives me. He complained that, you know, when you chop wood and you have to let it dry on the ground, I forgot to put it up. You know, I have 3 young kids, and then we got caught with a winter storm, and then it froze. So there was no way I was able to take my wood and put it up. But then the spring came, and in Canada, when COVID hit us, our schools were closed in March. I think March 18th was the first day that the schools closed. So it thought out. The plan was, before COVID happened, we were supposed to take that wood and put it up. But me having my 3 kids at home, when my youngest is 3 years old, I cannot keep him next to me and put that wood up. I have to watch him. He's too little, and he always runs away. So I did not put up the wood for safety purposes. He called the city and he complained. Visual nuisance. Like, the person in the condo said that they didn't like the view. They didn't enjoy the view of the wood on the ground. So I'm like, really? It's wood. It's wood.
It's your yard, you know?
Yeah. So the city told me invest in a fence. I'm like, I'm not going to pay $10,000 to shut him up. Why don't he pay $10,000 to put a fence?
Right.
I'm not putting a fence. Anyways. It was a long, interesting story with the city, but it's been 18 months and he's not bothered us. So,
well, hopefully it all works out for you. I know.
Next step, I'm gonna go a different route to shut him up.
I dropped 2 huge maple trees. I lived in the village of Port Leyden on 2/3 of an acre, and I dropped 2 huge maple trees because they were threatening to fall on the neighbor's house, or well, it was a trailer, mobile home.
Okay.
And so I dropped them, and I just left. I didn't have a chance to do anything with them. And then a friend of mine said, yeah, such and such, I don't remember if it was somebody on the village board or whatever, asked if you were ever going to cut those up. I said, not now. And he said, they'll turn to dirt before I do anything with it. I did end up eventually but 3 or 4 years later. I have a rebellious spirit, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it's hard to find good neighbors. There's always one that's going to come ruin it for you.
Yeah.
After that, the second call I got, if I could, I would have sold my house. But I started 5 years ago, so I invested so much on infrastructure, and my kids... my youngest was 9 months old when I moved in here. So, and my daughter, that's 9 now, does not want to move because her best friend lives right across the street.
Right.
So it's a hard decision.
I totally understand you. It's pretty much the same thing here.
And if we move, my friend that lived in my village and left a year ago, she wants me to go near her house, which is in Gaspésie, near your place, Rémi.
Closer.
But that is 9 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
So my kids are like, not too happy about that. They're like, okay, let's move in our town, like nearby. I'm like, if I'm moving, I'm not moving in the same town.
Yeah, you want to get away from the people that are, and that's one thing. Check all the ordinances if you do end up moving, because kids are flexible. They get over things quicker.
Yeah. Well, if I am moving, I actually will ask a lawyer to help me. I'm going to have official papers. And when I have either lawyers or whoever official is going to sign papers and tell me, okay, I want a homestead, I want animals, I want this, I want that. I want an official paper that tells me that I can have it, because there's no way I'm starting again.
Yeah. When I bought this land, it was abandoned agricultural zone. It was basically a 20-acre woodlot, actually a 60 or 80-acre woodlot, but I was only buying 20 of it. And when the tax assessor sent me the proposal to say, okay, this is what we're raising your taxes to, he had us residential, and I had him change it to I think it's residential / agricultural, just so that I've got that covered.
Yeah, so at least your back is covered. Okay, I'm going to read the comments. I come a bit behind. I guess, Marilyn, everyone's interested now in your long storage.
Yes.
Tomato. If you want, you can share your video link in the chat. Me too. I did a lot of seeds exchange, but I did buy a lot too. I know, Annie, you bought a lot of seeds this year. It was a big year for Annie seed buying. And I know it is disappointing, but I believe there is a path for me. Nothing happens for no reason. It's the only positive thing I can think of. Maybe I'm being trained for something bigger. We'll see. Our chickens go far. It's amazing. I'm thankful we live done a dead end road, and we live in a very rural area. We are a population of like 13. My chickens are hard to keep on property. Oh yeah, the chickens can go far. I actually had my neighbor's chicken cross the street and come in my yard. I don't mind, but crossing streets is kind of risky a little bit.
Yeah, guineas are worse. I
was getting ready to say the same thing, Tracy. Guineas are the hardest thing to keep at home. You buy them and they come up somebody else's pet. They always just stay at somebody else's house.
Yeah.
I've heard about guineas. I've never looked into getting guineas because I'm so scared of disturbing my neighbor. I just keep to normal noise.
Yeah, they have a lot. They make a lot of noise. They drive my brother crazy, but they are also like watchdogs. We've had them. We had 3 guineas, and they chased deer out of the yard, turkeys out of the yard, and alerted me to a coyote that was in the yard. Well, he was.
Will they be better than these? How you say that in English? Geese. Are they better than geese? You know those
I don't know. I've never owned geese. I know geese will chase you, but these, I mean, they didn't. They were going crazy and flying back and forth towards this one little opening in the woods, and I thought I saw a baby deer there, but when it turned, I was able to see the tail, and it was a coyote, and they wouldn't get too close to it, but it didn't get my flock. So they saved the flock a couple times. And hawks.
Nice.
But
is it true that they take care of ticks?
They're great ticks and mosquito control for your property. But well, let me rephrase that. They're awesome tick control and mosquito control for your neighbor's property because they don't ever stay home.
Okay, so if I understand your concept, I have to have some, your neighbor has to have some, and your whole area. Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, because they are noisy. They will get under the window and cackle, and it will drive you batty sometimes for no reason at all. But they are for my situation where they might be able to hear them, my nearest neighbor, but it's going to be very low. If I had very close neighbors, I wouldn't be able to have them because they're just so noisy.
Do they come back? Every night, do they come back?
Mine roosted right with the chickens and everything.
So every night they do come back. So they wander off during the day and then they come back?
Mine never. I mean, they would lead the chickens deeper into the woods, and I would end up having to rattle the the feed bucket to get all of them to come back because they wanted to wander. But yeah, I lost one to a hawk. But I think it attacked the hawk. I think the hawk was coming down at a chicken and it attacked it. I wasn't there to see it, but I found it dead in the way that it hit, and I could see the wing imprints where the hawk tried to carry it. And then I had to kill one because they were bullying up on the rooster. And,
so they have attitude.
Yeah, well, yeah, they were the dominant bird on the property, no doubt about it. And now the one I've got left is very docile. He doesn't like me, but he doesn't chase me or anything. He just won't come near me.
And you can only keep one? I thought these were pack.
Well, that's what I ended up with because I couldn't have them kill them. They were to the point where they were about to kill that rooster. And not letting them in at night and stuff like that. And the rooster will propagate the flock for me. He is very useful. So I caught one as he was chasing and I would shoot in front of them with the 22 and throw dirt up on them and they would stop. Well, they stopped stopping for the 22. So I ended up actually shooting one of them. And
so one became dinner.
No, I didn't eat it. I don't know what they would taste like. But
have you tried them, Michael?
No, my uncle always loved them, and I know that was his from growing up. We always worked in his tobacco field, helped him on his farm, and that's all we heard about was his biggest complaint was the guineas not staying home. But I don't never remember him eating them. I think he liked them too much to eat them. It was like pets to him.
Yeah.
I don't think they are animals that are eaten regularly. Like I've never heard anyone harvesting a guinea. I don't remember. I know Justin Road used to have guineas, but I don't remember him talking about harvesting them. I don't remember.
Well, it was just so fun to watch them because they had like 2 chickens that were their favorite that they would hang with, and then they would run around. They ruled the roost. They were like the mafia or something, you know. They would walk around and the rest of the chickens would part ways for them, you know. And yes, sir, you go right
the
on.
Mafia.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, there's a mafia even in the chicken world. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I just saw time. It's magic hour for me at my house.
Okay.
It's 7:30. Since I'm the one that puts my babies to sleep, so I'm gonna have to let you guys go. I'm just gonna let the people in the comments to say something if they want to say something. But thanks everyone for coming and chatting with me and all of you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a nice week. If you go out checking any channels, don't forget to do thumbs up or comment on people's videos. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that helps us out. And if you haven't done the thumbs up on this live, do it please. It was great. Oh, hello, Jill. Hello,
Jill.
and have a nice evening. I haven't seen you in the comments. Thank you, Marilyn, for being the mod of this live. Anyone else wants to say anything before we go?
I'll be on.
Up here. Great channels you got in here. Kendra, everybody was putting up good information. I love these guys up here on the top, Brimmy and Tracy. Are awesome channels too. But you got some great channels in here tonight. And
thank you.
We watch some of your lives. You have great channels in here all the time. Thank you for having me up here for the first time. And you guys ever want to do it again, let me know.
Sure. I normally would do live on my own, but since I started doing 3 and 4, I love it because it makes it more fluid, more questions, and we learn more.
Yep.
Tonight we learned about elderberries. We learned about ginger poultice. What else? The willow water.
The willow water.
Willow water. So we learned a lot.
And the wall of water. We learned about that, the plastic thing that goes.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up. Wall of water. Yeah.
True. Something else. And soil blocking and all of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. I guess everyone said what they wanted to say in the chat. So I'm going to stop the live. And thanks for coming, everyone. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you. Talk to
Great
you
show.
later.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot.